And welcome in to another episode of Off Script. My name is Zak Herbstreit. And Florida fans, we're already a couple practices into spring ball already, and you're starting to get a general gist of what this Florida team is going to be. But in today's video, I want to talk about the brewing quarterback battle going into the 2026 season and what I expect to happen from that quarterback battle. But before we get into that today, if you enjoy college football, if you enjoy the channel, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel as well. It helps me out a lot, so I appreciate you guys. But let's get right into it here. Just a quick overview for maybe those that weren't paying attention or maybe that those want to know a little bit more about the situation. The battle right now is between Aaron Philo and Tramel Jones Jr. Philo's more that veteran kind of player where also categorized as a gamer, so has a little bit more experience under his belt, but also the gamer aspect where he's from, at least, or formerly where he was from, that Georgia Tech offense with Haynes King. So when I think gamer, I think similar to Haynes King, where he, that gritty, scrappy, fight for a first down, that chipping away at the defense throughout the entire game, where the defense just continues to keep hitting you. And then they're like, how is this guy not going down yet? Like, he's taking all these big hits, but he refuses to go down. That's the kind of guy Aaron Philo is going to be for this Florida Gators team. And then looking at Tramel Jones Jr., inexperienced, young guy still, but his freak athleticism, which really stood out to these Florida coaches. And it's like, how do you not use that freak athleticism, especially at the quarterback position, especially nowadays where the dual threat quarterback seems to be kind of where everyone's kind of gravitating towards? It's an interesting, discussion at least to think like, hey, this guy, inexperienced, but, freak athleticism, but this guy a little bit more experienced, but, maybe just not as athletic, but knows the offense better. It's a pretty fair balance. But right now, Philo's assumed to be the starter just from the media and just general, knowledge out there. People are thinking, all right, Philo's going to start. But currently it's neck and neck from what we've heard throughout, the Florida boards and, sources at Florida. It's neck and neck. John Summerall himself even said, like, he has no idea who's the quarterback's going to be. So hopefully for me, when I'm thinking about this, I see some separation when they have their scrimmage this upcoming Saturday. Usually scrimmages are where separation is made, especially spring ball, fall camp. Those are the kind of the big days to have separation. But here's where my mind's at when thinking about this. And I understand this is a bit subjective here, but here's my question when looking at this. Which quarterback is going to put my team in the position to win from the jump, from the get-go, from game one? Which quarterback is going to win me the most games? And I think at the end of the day, when looking at both these two prospects here, which, by the way, I feel like either of them could start, really. They could. But you got to go with experience. You got to go with Aaron Philo. And I think I'm more into this here. When your offensive coordinator leaves Georgia Tech to go to Florida and you follow him, you're not just going to, like loosely. You're not just be like, well, hopefully I'll start. No, you follow Buster Faulkner from Georgia Tech to Florida to play. You follow him because you know the offense, you know what to do with the ball, over. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be identical to Georgia Tech offense, but it's going to be very similar. There's going to be some wrinkles here and there, and Summerall might spice it up a little bit. Motions, formations, stuff like that. I haven't seen the offense, so I couldn't tell you exactly what it's going to be like. But you don't go just to hope. You go to play. So I think he's, I don't want to say he's definitive 100% going to be the starter, but with the advantage of knowing the offense, knowing overall what to do in situational ball, yeah, I think it helps. It's a huge advantage for him in that quarterback battle. And no discredit to Tramel Jones Jr. He's an incredible athlete, but I think development under that position is going to be monumental for him. I think being behind DJ Lagway wasn't extremely beneficial for him, but being behind Philo and learning from this new offensive coordinator, it will help him. It'll help him a lot. And he's not the only quarterback in there. I know Summerall loves the quarterback room in general, but it's going to be a tight battle. I think athleticism, especially nowadays, like quarterbacks like Marcel Reed, Trinidad Chambliss, those kind of improviser, scramble, make plays kind of guys are kind of becoming more mainstream. So I'm not saying he's completely out of it, but when you have a guy like Aaron Philo who already knows what he's doing under this offensive coordinator, you don't have to teach him as much. You just kind of got to be like, all right, go out and do your thing. You know how to do it. Like, we've taught you this. You've been doing it for a year. You learned under Haynes King, who, like I said, I feel like should have been a Heisman finalist or a candidate at least, but, gritty kind of guy. But yeah, I think it's almost solidified that he probably will be the day one starter for me, in my opinion. and especially looking at the receivers that he's going to throw to too. So it's going to be a lot easier. You have Dallas Wilson coming back from injury, who's probably not going to play too much in the spring, but showed a lot of promise last season. So you're really looking forward to him. But also Eric Singleton and Micah Mays are two transfers that really kind of shown up in spring and probably will be a big impact for this Florida offense. But Florida fans, I want to know your thoughts. Who do you think is going to start at quarterback for this Florida team? There's a lot of toss up in the air right now. Do you go with that young, inexperienced, athletic guy, or do you go with the more experienced, kind of veteran guy who's, the gamer, if you will? And it's debatable. I feel like it's a good debate. But Florida fans, I want to hear your thoughts. Like I said, my name's Zak Herbstreit. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'll see you guys soon.